And I'm also watching that new Game of Thrones, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms or something, and it's fucking great so far. I hate Game of Thrones. I hate it. Do we have time for this? You know what? We're gonna make time. I despise Game of Thrones. I'm one of the guys that was like, I don't watch swashbuckling, swords, wizardry, anything to do with, if it feels like Lord of the Rings, I want nothing to do with it. And my sister tried like hell. The whole country was like, you gotta watch Game of Thrones. You gotta watch Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is so good. It twists. It turns. People die. You don't see it coming. People fuck. They're brother and sister. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you gotta watch it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna eat it up. It's gonna be your whole personality. Becoming a Game of Thrones person is going to make other shows obsolete. You won't even remember the names of other shows. You won't remember the names of your own family members because all you will ever think about is how great Game of Thrones is. And I said, no, fuck you. I'm not watching that shit. Fuck that shit. I'm not one of those guys. And I don't look down on that. It's just not my thing. I don't want to be involved in something that's not my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of a thing. Roller skating. I'm not going roller skating. I don't mind if that's your personality. But you can't sit here and be like, you'll love roller skating. No, I won't. Because I've tried roller skating. Trying with roller skating is the equivalency of when I watched Lord of the Rings back in the day. I watched it. I hated them. They were too long. I was also a kid. I was a child. Let me preface this by saying I was also a kid. So my tastes were very short-sighted. I haven't gone back, to be fair, I haven't gone back and rewatched The Lord of the Rings, but everyone sucks their dick, so it might be high time for me to go back and check out The Lord of the Rings. But there is they are too long. I've seen all three. I saw when they came out at Christmas Eve or day or whatever. When they came out in theaters, I was one of the lucky few to watch the Oscar sweeping Return of the King in theaters. And I wanted to fall asleep. I hated it. I fucking hated it. Right? So to have a gory, sex-filled version of that, you're not bringing me in. You're not going to bring me in. Because that means I have to watch the parts that don't have boobs and murder. If the whole show is in boobs and murder, I don't want to see it. And they're like, the whole show is boobs and murder. No, it's not. Not the whole time. All right? There's this whole offset about dragons. Whose cousin is whose. Which house belongs to what. And who's the rightful heir to that uncomfortable looking knife chair. Okay? I don't want to watch that shit. I barely like it when magic is involved. And that's the most exciting part of these things. If a drag is involved, that is also very exciting. I don't give a fuck. And now again, I sound like I'm coming off very strong about this. Like, if you like them, you're an idiot. I don't want that to be the case. I don't want you to think I think you suck or are dumb or are silly for liking that stuff. Because that's not silly. You should like that stuff. That stuff is exciting. I at the time was a fucking small-minded dipshit who was like, oh, there's fucking magic spells and they go to a school to learn it?
Fuck you, bro. Hell no. No way. No fucking way. We'll die on this hill. Fuck Harry Potter. Fuck all that shit.
At the time, people were like, but again, if you watch Game of Thrones, there's big boobs and fucking, and people get their eyes popped out of their head. And I'm like, you're not luring me in with it. Sorry. Same thing with the roller skating. You could tell me I'm going to watch a bunch of naked women just wearing roller skates, but I also have to put the roller skates on. I'm not going. Sorry. Like, but they're also gonna murder a guy. Sorry. I'm not going. I'm not into roller skates that much. Because there are gonna be times where they're not naked rolling around killing a guy on the roller rink. Right? There's gonna be times where they're gonna be talking about roller skating. And I don't want to talk about roller skating. I don't want to talk about roller skating while lacing up my roller skates, trying to figure out how to balance on these roller skates. I want nothing to do with that. Stop pitching me roller skating. That's how I felt about Game of Thrones. And then I was staying at my sister's for like a month. I came in and I was doing a bunch of shows. Came off basically doing a loop of comedy clubs in the area, and I stay with her when I'm back home in Seattle. And she's like, "We're watching Game of Thrones. I don't give a fuck what you say." And we started from the very beginning. And god damn it, I was hooked. Fuck me, I was hooked. I'm so mad. I was so mad. The episode that got me is when they are making their way to Westeros. The Starks and the blonde ones. Lord Baratheon and fucking the blonde ones. The ones that with the brother-sister couple and their fucking incest children. And they're making their way to Westeros. And then Joffrey comes in and fucks with everybody, and then gets bitten by one of the dire wolves, and they have to put that fucking dire wolf down, and my blood ran red with hate. I was like, this kid needs to die next episode. If Joffrey isn't dead next episode, I'm going to throw a rock at my sister's TV. I was infuriated. I was like, you got to be shitting me they killed this dire wolf. Fuck this show. I was so attached to those wolves. It was so well done how they got you to give a fuck about the kids' emotions per their wolf, which is why John Wick is such a huge franchise. The smartest thing they ever did was kill that dog, because now we have 4, probably 5 John Wick movies on top of a fucking video game where you get to be John Wick. I couldn't think of a cooler thing. I couldn't think of a cooler video game character to be than John, other than Kratos and Batman. Everyone wants to be John Wick, even if you don't like guns. You're like, John Wick, I get to play as John Wick. Even if you've never even heard of video games, you're like, I get to be John Wick. Guess what I'm buying tomorrow? All right. So I get hooked. I get to the last episode of season 1. Joffrey kills Ned, and now the family is scattered. I am absolutely devastated, which means I am hooked, and I'm very upset at my sister for this. So now I care. I care now. Now I care. All right. I keep watching. I get to the Red Wedding. She makes me FaceTime her, which again is spoiler territory. I'm no dummy. I have to FaceTime you on this episode. Something crazy's going down. Didn't disappoint. Was not expecting that, but at all. Freaked out. You know? And it's one of those moments where you're watching it and you're like, man, I am so late to the party because this is a thing that ruined everybody's lives. Oh my god. Then you get to Jon gets killed, resurrected, leaves the watch, goes back to Castle Stark to get it from from Who's-Its, the second evil bad guy, other than Joffrey. I get one of the greatest scenes in the show is when Tyrion Lannister is on trial. His dad is sitting on the throne. That motherfucker. And Tyrion tells them all off. Tells them to go fuck themselves. Oh, because when they all think that he killed Joffrey. So satisfying when Joffrey was killed. And he did such a good job. I understand why everyone bullied that kid off set. He's a rotten rat little child. And he deserved to drink poison and die. And that's how good that actor is. You're like, oh my God. How would you not want to punch him in the face when you saw him? He was pure fucking evil. I am not tired! What a bitch. Joffrey was such a bitch. He cried all the time. What an awful person. So, you get to the 6th season when, I think it's the 6th, whatever season it is, where the youngest boy, who is now king, falls in love with the one chick who was with Joffrey before he died. And she fucks his brains out. He falls in love. And then his mom blows up the Capitol. It does an absolute war crime. Insanity that she did that. Like, fucking crazy that they wrote that in and did that. And then he jumped to his death. Another moment where you're like, my God. And the only one that's left is what's her name? The Shame woman. Also pure evil. Hope she dies. And then we get to the dreaded season 7 and season 8. Where, for some reason, they gave up. They stopped giving a shit about the biggest show in the world? Huh? Why? It was so good. And yeah, they didn't have an ending. But you have to write one. I know that you're not in charge of that. You're just retelling someone else's story. But you do that really well. You do that part very well. So take what you've learned from that big giant Santa Claus who dresses like a fucking old-timey couch. Take his ideas and then sprinkle them into the ending. They just gave up. They just kept putting dragons everywhere. Now, I told you. Dragons and magic are very exciting. But that shit is not what drew me in the first place. The wolves drew me in. The care that they took to make me give a fuck about those little baby wolves. And then they give those little wolves to the children. Now you have this little living, breathing thing that apparently is going to grow to be humongous, attaching themselves to these children. I'm attached to the wolves. The wolves are attached to the kids. So now I'm attached to the wolves. I'm attached to the children because of the wolves. I don't want to see anything bad happen to the wolves, and in return, I don't want see anything bad happen to the kids. And bad things happen to the kids, and you're devastated by it. And then they all go on these incredibly long journeys of self-discovery. The Hound, and Arya, and and I haven't even covered fucking Mrs. Gonna Break the Wheel. I never liked her. I never liked her story. Daenerys, I couldn't have cared less about a character than Daenerys Targaryen, or whatever her fucking name is. I think that was right. Yeah, Targaryen. Your whole dragon tale of I'm going to break the wheel. Okay, great. Even though I don't like you as a character, I do want to watch you break the wheel. Now, if there is an instance where she was supposed to turn evil, great. I'm all for it. You do that shit throughout the show all the time. Characters that shouldn't be characters you love you end up loving. Jaime Lannister fucks his sister and pushes a young boy out the window and cripples him for the rest of his fucking life. He is a person. He's smug. He's a fuckface. He stabs Ned in the leg. He is part of the family that is ruining the good family. You shouldn't like him. You should not like him at all. And they do such an incredible job of turning the tables on you for this character. And you're like, oh my God, he might be the best character. He's even though he's in love with his sister, there's scenes where you're like the way he's explaining it, you understand his point of view. You don't agree with it. Everyone, after you say that, you have to say the next part. You don't agree with it, but you get why, you get and understand his love for her and why he wants her, why he wants to be with her, blah, 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 blah. And then she stabs him in the back, and he is forced to leave. So other great building blocks for characters. A guy moving on from what he thought he wanted as now has to do something else with his life. He's also he lost his hand. He's being under the and taken care of Brienne of Tarth. I am shocked I am remembering all these names. I don't know why they are embedded in my brain. The typical blonde-haired knight character is usually a man. And they made that character a woman. They do it all. So this is what I'm saying. They fucking turn the tables on you. The characters you think should be in their atypical places, they are not. They have subverted expectations. And that was the point. You know, you do what you like, that the Hound Arya stuff. You know, big giant character. She's like practically she starts as his hostage, turns into like his ward. You know, you subverted expectations in an unintentionally intentional way. You started with an idea and then learned how to flip the script on it. By the 7th and fucking my PS5 is like, we're gonna rest in 10 minutes. You haven't fucking touched the controller. Then by season 7 and season 8, you just decided to do the opposite of what the internet thought you were gonna do. And then made fucking Daenerys the bad guy, made her blow up the city, and then take it over by force. And then in one of the silliest things I think I've ever seen in a TV show is fucking Tony Stark. Now I'm losing track of the names. The boy who lived, black hair, on the watch, Jon Snow. Jon Snow realizes that he's in love with Hitler, so he kills Hitler, stabs her in the back, and then her last surviving dragon burns the chair.
Fuck you, bro.
This is what's so upsetting about that. What I'm upset about is not that the show was bad by the end. It's that all you motherfuckers, my sister included, the leader of the You Gotta Watch Game of Thrones pack, forced me to fall in love with a show, and then they fucked it up. This is your fault. And now I hate all Game of Thrones things. I can barely get through the other one. The one where it's like the House of the Dragon or whatever. Yeah, the House of the Dragon is what it's called. That fucking show, I tried. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care about this. Going back 400 years to see that the Targaryens were in charge. They were on the Iron Throne. Okay, so you're gonna go back another couple thousand years to show when the Starks were on the. I don't know. I don't care. Fuck you. I know it's different creators, but they're just telling the same old bullshit story over and over again. It's dumb, and I hate you, and I hate you for making me watch it and then love it and then hate it, because I don't want to hate it. I want to love it. Anyway, so I watched the new Game of Thrones, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and so far we're 4 episodes deep. I didn't want to watch it because it's Game of Thrones, because I'm back on my hate train, and I'm wrong. It's incredible. It's very funny, and the build-up is incredible. It's edited so well. And really, they're back to the basics, my friends. Back to the basics. They're making you give a shit about the characters you're seeing and witnessing. You spend time with all of them. There's little twists and turns here and there. Sorry to spoil that, but there. I love it. I recommend watching it. I think it is an incredible watch. And that is the end of Coming Attractions.